This is the Intro to Statistics series, and in this video we're going over range and outliers. So just a quick review, what statistics are. Statistics are used to measure data sets, and a data set is a group of numbers. There's multiple ways you can measure data sets. Last video we went over the core components of mean, median, and mode. In this one we're going over range and outliers. So again, that's a data set, data set, data set. So let's now look at how to calculate range and outliers of a data set. So range is the biggest number minus the smallest number. Very easy calculation. So in this data set, the biggest number is 170 minus the smallest number, 112. So our range is going to be 58. So range is very easy to calculate, biggest number minus smallest number. So now let's move on to an outlier. So let's say we're going to add another number to our data set here. Let's say we throw in 17. So look at 17 compared to all the other numbers. All the other numbers are in the hundreds, and 17 is nowhere near that. So 17 we would classify as an outlier. And so an outlier is an outcast number. It's a number that is just, it doesn't really belong in the data set. So think of it as the black sheep of the data set, just doesn't really belong there. And the thing about outliers is they greatly affect the mean, but not the median, because we're adding another number, but the number is completely irrelevant to the rest of the numbers. So that will affect the mean, because it will affect your sum on top, but it won't really affect the median because it's just adding one more number that we're counting from the outside. So it will affect the mean way more than the median. So let's take this data set here. Let's calculate the range. So again, we're going to take, and let's see if there's any outliers. So the range, we're going to take the biggest number, 72, subtract the smallest number, 10, and so that's going to be a range of 62. And then are there any outliers in this data set? It doesn't really look like there's any outliers in the bottom part of the set, but then once we get to the very top of the set, we notice that 72 is actually way more than all the other numbers. So 72 would be an outlier. It just falls way outside the range of the data set. So here's another data set here, and what we're going to do in this one is we're going to find the mean, median, mode, range, and the outliers of the data set. So let's go mean first, then median, mode, then we'll find range, and then we'll see if there's any outliers. So the mean, if you add all those up and divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, there's 10 numbers in there, you're going to get 9.9. The median is going to be 7.5 because the middle is 7 and 8, so 7 plus 8 divided by 2 is 7.5. In the mode, 7 occurs twice. No other number in the set occurs more than once. The range, 35 minus 2 is going to be 33. And then again, outliers, we find 35 is much bigger than any other number in the set, so 35 is going to be an outlier. So now we're going to find the same measurements, but we're going to throw out the outlier of 35. Okay, so you will see how throwing away 35 affects the calculations in the set. So let's get rid of 35, and we're going to drop our calculations and do them again. So again, if we add up all those numbers and divide now by 9 for the mean, now the mean is going to be 7.1. The median is going to be 7, because now 7 is directly in the middle, and the mode also going to be 7, and the range will be 10, 12 minus 2, and again, we discarded the outliers. So make a note here that without the outlier being used in the data set, the mean and median are much closer to one another. In the previous calculation with the outlier, the mean was 9.9, and it dropped to 7.1, whereas the median was 7.5, dropped to 7. So again, outliers, when you get rid of outliers, it brings the mean and the median closer together. So let's try one more data set. It's going to be a small one, and we're just going to quickly calculate mean, median, mode, range, and if there's any outliers. So again, mean, add them all up, divide by 5, 12.2. Median, 12 is in the middle. Mode, 14 occurs twice. Range, 14 minus 10, 4. And outliers, all these numbers are pretty close together, so there are no outliers. So that's outliers and range. In the next video, we're going to look at how to calculate or how to put together a box and whiskers plot.